Welcome back. This is Sharina with Sharina Shack Scraps, and I am here with April's Noteworthy albums for my Noteworthy series. This is called a Waterfall Paperbag album. It was designed to simulate the waterfall card and the cascade picture displaying method, I don't know what you call it, for scrapbooking, where you have tiered sections to where your photos are displayed, and then on the last one here I've got a different take on the waterfall card that displays your pictures. Let me show you both of these at the same time. See if I can keep these in camera here. Here is the title page, and obviously I've used two different size paper bags here that you can purchase at, in even your local grocery store. And the front page here is where I added all my, let's see, the title, sorry, brain download issues. And then this page here is a pocket page where I have added just tags to go in these pockets. Okay, and this is a flip page. It simulates a, what do they call it, file folder. So you can add your photos there. And then we go to the top of the next page, and here is kind of a belly band style, so you can add some photos there. This section here, this I call the window because it opens up like this, and on this one I want for a more masculine feel I did what I call the wallet, and so it actually slides, I don't know if you can see that, slides out for photos, and you can add photos to the sides and everything. And then on these bottom two portions of the bags are tags where you can pull out. And I found that these tags are a little bit small. They tend to get stuck in the bag, so that's something I've learned. Make them a little bigger. And same thing with these. These ones are a little longer, and they stay in place a lot better, especially with the little flower to hold them. So let's turn the page. On the top here we have a pocket made from the paper bag that holds all the tags. And then of course the bottom part that has the waterfall picture display. One of these is a little wider because the paper bag's a little bit bigger, but that is the album. Now, I'm going to leave this one out because, of course, I'm going to use one of my digital kits. This is my Sweet Rain digital kit because it's all waterfall-y. I thought I'd do some more water ideas. This is my Sweet Rain digital kit, and I'm super excited about this one. I loved playing in the rain with my kids, and I don't stop them when they want to go get wet because I know that they'll just get in the tub and take a bath, and it'll all be lots of fun. So I have hundreds of rain pictures because we don't stay in the house, we go play. First of all, you're going to need, you can purchase that at my website at sharinashack.com under the digital products tab. Okay, you need two paper bags. Now, these paper bags and these paper bags are the exact same size. They are the regular Walmart paper bags you could buy at the grocery store, and you get a whole bunch of them for, $1. They are 10 5/8 by 5 1/8 by 3 1/8 inches, which is 27 by 13 by 7.9 centimeters. And these I also got at Walmart, but I found them in the party aisle, and they are a little more clean and crisply folded, and of course have some fun color to them, which I love, and I'm going to use these ones, but they are the same size. And if you decide to purchase this hybrid mini album here that I'm going to show you, they are sized for this size bag, which is a really easy size bag to get your hands on. So, okay, let's get started. First of all, let me move this aside, but I'm going to bring it back in. Our first paper bag, we are going to just fold right on that line at the very bottom. It's all lined up straight, and that's all you do. That's the first paper bag. Okay, that's the outside one. The inside bag is a little trickier. Now, as you can see, I'm going to fold this just a little bit so you can see it. This is the bottom portion of our paper bag, but it's the nice side of it. It needs to be in the center when we fold our bag. Fold it so it is in the center. And see how there's, and it's approximately about 1.25 inches on both sides. So I don't know if you can see the shadows are playing it, but there's the bottom of the paper bag, and it's about 1.25 inches on each side. And that will make it so when you slide it into the other one that you did, it will fit and stack perfectly every time. All right, back to this middle paper bag. We need to do a little bit more work to it to get it ready. I need you to flip the left side out from underneath, and then on that score line, I need you to cut with your scissors on that score line until you reach where the gusset ends. So if you open your paper bag and see where the gusset, this is the gusset, where it ends, we need to cut to that line. Let's see if I can do this a little closer for you. And it might be a little different on every bag, so there's not an exact amount. Just get to where the gusset ends. Leave this side as is, but we're going to fold the gusset out the opposite direction here, like that. We're going to fold it out, and then we're going to fold it up on the original score lines, and that's going to make the pocket on this page right here. Okay? So we're going to fold your paper bag back up this direction and then slide it back into the other paper bag. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack my paper bags on top of each other with the fold line in the same spot, and using my crocodile I am going to punch some holes. Another way to hold your album together that I've done in the past, works really great, is a sewing machine, and I just used a zigzag stitch to catch any extra pieces that didn't want to catch for me. There we go, just like that. And then I'm going to, from the inside, I'm going to thread a piece of ribbon. Let's see if I can do this in a semi-quick fashion. This seems to slow me down every time we do something like this. Thread it through the holes that we have just punched. Turn your bag over and tie it all neat. Now I'm just going to not take too many pains here, and I'll fix it in a little while. This piece of ribbon is approximately 15 or so inches long. Depends on what you want to do with it. Guess I could have given myself a little more. Okay, now if you notice, this kind of is loose after a fashion. We will tack that down later to help hold it down. Okay. Now we can start embellishing and adding our papers and pictures to our paper bag project. Now to get the measurements here, I have just measured my paper bag and thought, okay, this is about 5 1/4 inches long by 3 1/2, and I like to leave a little bit of edge space so I can see the color of my bag. And so I'm going to use a 3 inch by 5 inches are going to be some of my main inches to use. Okay, so my first piece is roughly that size. Now if you do the digital kit, they have already been sized for you and they will fit perfectly. I also am just going to tack these down roughly because you don't need to sit here and watch me glue all these pages down, and I'll glue them all down a little bit neater later. Okay, so there is my title page, and I'm going to add this bag in here so that you can get an idea of a little bit of the difference. Alright, this pocket measures 2 1/4. Oh, sorry, wrong. Looking at my wrong note. Sorry, this pocket is 2 inches by 3 1/4 inches, and I've just added adhesive to the 3 sides and glued it straight down to the bag. I've also used a lot of the bag here without adding extra papers to it for these tags. With the digital version, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I have made a little pocket here because I need to add more than a couple tags, and so I needed a little bit thicker pocket, so I have made a pocket that's about that size, and I am going to adhere it down here. Okay, and the directions for that pocket are also in the mini album directions here. And then just a note, here I have a scallop edge, and I just did that for show purposes. I am not going to use that because I've cut it out of my little bag here. I'm actually just going to cut that off. But you're welcome to cut out all those little scallop edges if you'd like. Alright, I'll tack that down. This just says, I love to see my kids playing in the rain. And then I have, and where this one I didn't add a paper, I have made a paper, and I'm adding it in here, and I will glue it down later, but for now I'm just going to slide it in here so it will look like this. And I'll glue it down later. And then of course I've made these tags and they're available. And I'm going to take my chopper, which I've misplaced. Oh, there it is. And I love these choppers because you can do multiple things at a time. So I'm going to stick it in there and I'm going to make tags out of these and add them to my pocket. And they're just all my kids jumping on the trampoline in the rain. They were soaked. So funny. Okay. The bottom portion of this, I've done this flip here. Well, my pictures were going the other direction, and so I needed my flip to go the opposite direction. This flip measures 6.5 by 4.25 inches, and then you can add a tab or make the tab that goes here. With this one, I am going to add just a hinge piece here to the back of my paper, my digitally designed paper. Let's see if I can get it in the right spot on the first try. And I've done this just out of white because I'm going to now adhere this down to my bag, and I'm going to adhere another picture right on top of that white so you won't see the white. But when I open it, I just wanted it to be a nice clear white. Alright, so there's that page. These things, I've added these to the bottom of this one, and they measure 1.5 inches by 5 inches. And as you can see, I haven't covered the whole paper bag. Now the difference between this and this also is when you add more paper to your bag, it helps your bag stay more stable so it's not as flimsy. This bag is pretty flimsy. It folds in lots of different places. This one's going to be a lot more stiff because I've got papers covering these more abundantly. Alright. Okay, these little pieces measure about 1/2 inch by 1/2 to 3/4 inches, depending on how big you want them to be, by 3.25 inches. And I have stapled them down. Now before I added this paper down, I have stapled these so that I could cover up the staples with this piece of paper. So if you're going to do that, and I have put them down in just a random fashion. They're not straight, they're crooked, they're that way on purpose. You can do whatever you want that way. For the digital version, I have just made a frame. And so you can add a picture. Here I've got some hummingbirds. And then here I've just added a piece of paper just to fill in that space. And I've done the same thing here. Just to give it a little decorative edge. Here I've added a little, looks like a little charm. Now, this is the window, and it measures, let's see, 8.5 inches by 3.5 inches, and it is scored at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8, so that when they meet, they'll meet right up in the middle, and it folds up all neat and nice. And then for this one, I have first of all made a paper that I'm going to adhere down. And in the digital file, you will see that it is, what do they call it? Faded or transparent. That is exactly, so you know exactly where to place your window page. Now this page is a little bit longer and the dimensions are in the pattern, and I have made a closure here. And here I've added my photos already, so these are my girls. They like to worm hunt in the rain. Go for worm hunts. They're kind of crazy. And then I'd adhere that down into its spot. Now here, as you can see in this one, I have cut a semicircle out using just, a circle punch. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one, only do it through the first layer of the bag. So open up your bag. But it's easier to cut out that punch after you've added this paper. You'll go in and then cut it, and I will do that later when I add these photos in, or when I tack this all down really nice and neat. I'll do that later. And I have, this is the digital version, this is the slide in that goes in this pocket. For the digital version, there's room for 3 photos in a journaling spot. And this measures the same size as the photo mat does on the top because it makes the paper bag a little more stiff. It's the same size as this. and you can get a lot more photos on here. Okay, next page, we are to our fun little pocket page here, and this is why I have not glued this down yet, because I need to add my paper first. And the paper for this one, I didn't write it down, but I can give you the dimension. It is 3.5 to 4 inches, because it doesn't need to go all the way to the end, by 5.5 inches. And I put a piece of paper back here because there was just too much white space for me. And here I've designed a paper digitally to add to this space. And then you're going to add adhesive, which I'm not going to do yet, to this portion and this. I'm probably not in camera. I'm going to add adhesive to this portion and this portion of my flap, and then glue it down. Maybe I'll just tack it down for, and that will also hold your paper bag down where that piece was. And then you can embellish this little pocket piece, which I have said we get these floods sometimes. Once every couple years we get this flood where you get tons of rain. And this particular year my son got in the kayak and rode down our street on the flood at the end of our street, and then the men have to come and dig out. It's just kind of a fun, crazy process. Great service for us. And those are the big, I made some big tags. There's 2 of them to go in there that hold 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 on that one and 2 on that one. And here I just have these tags. Now these tags measure 2¼ inches by 4 inches, but you can make them any size that you want, and they're all the same on all of these pages. Let me see. And now we are to the waterfall page. And this is the trickiest page of them all. Okay. And they all fold out. So first of all, I am going to tack down my original page here. And again, you can see the faded rectangle. That is where you're going to place it when you are ready to put it together. Okay, so that is down. And then here is the insert. As you notice, it is also the same size, and it holds 5 photos, and it will go on the inside of my bag here, which I will do later. And also cut your circle punch out of there as well. Okay, for the waterfall portion of our album, I'm going to give you some dimensions first. This piece measures 9 inches by 3.5 inches, and I ran out of card space, so I had to re-record this, and this is already stuck. I'll tell you about it in a second. Anyway, and you measure this 9.5 by 3.5 inch piece, you score it, sorry, at 5 inches, at 6 inches, and at 7 inches. Okay, and then you're going to fold each of those pieces going the same direction, so not accordion style. They all fold the same direction, alright? When you close this up, at the 5-inch score mark, the top section is shorter than the back section is. And it is supposed to be that way. I need you to open this up, and this little piece here that is already attached is 3.5 inches by 3¼ inches by 4.5 inches wide, and it goes on the back section of the front of our waterfall piece. Okay, so it goes in the back section, and it goes just along the edge with the same amount on both sides. This is the part of your waterfall that will actually be attached to your album. Nothing else attaches this part to your album except for that, so it's a very important piece. Now in the digital version, I have a digital band that you will adhere over here, only I can't seem to find the right one because this is the wrong one. There isn't an umbrella on the right one, and I have misplaced it, so I'm not going to attach that now because I can't find it. But it will go right there before you add the next part here. Alright, let me get this in here so you can kind of see what I've done here. Now, on the last section here, where these are poking out, we need to adhere your first photo or your first piece of paper, and I'm talking about this piece right here, okay? This piece right here is what we're looking at. And so you're going to add that photo right there. Or your paper, and add your photos to it later. It goes in that portion right there. Then between the 6 and 7 score marks, you're going to add your second photo, which is this one right here. See how we're kind of stacking it up a little different? And you're only going to adhere it in between those two lines and line it up at the top of the score line, not in, so that it will flip out. See how that's kind of flipping out? And then of course between the 5 and 6 inch score marks you add your last picture or piece of paper. And these papers that I'm using here are 3.5 by 2.5 inches. They are the same on this. The papers are 3.5 by 2.5. Okay, so see, now I've got my stack album going here. One more thing I want to add. Here I've added a large photo on the back, and so of course I'm going to add a large photo to the back of this as well. Alright, now that is the waterfall portion. That is ready to be attached to our album. And it goes in that transparent square. And it does not, you do not add adhesive to this and then stick it down like you normally would. You only add brads or adhesive or staple together just these edges. See how there I've used brads right here? This is the only part that's connected to the album, so that this will have its movement. When you do that, whether you use staples or brads, only staple through to the first gusset. If you staple through all these layers, you won't be able to get your card or your tag insert in. It won't allow it to go all the way in. So only staple through to the first gusset piece. Where did it go? Here on both sides of your bag. So that's how you attach it down. Makes sense? And then of course add your thing in. That is the end of our paper bag album. I hope that this was fun. I know this was a little bit more complicated and a little bit longer tutorial, but they're really easy to make. They're very fun and they have a lot of punch to them. Thank you for joining me again. This is Sharina with Sharina Shack Scraps. Visit my website at sharinashack.com and visit my blog at sharinashackscraps.blogspot.com to see any more and fun ideas that I have. Thanks, we'll talk to you later. Bye.